Former President Barack H. Obama responded to President Trump's accusations about him being a treasonous individual. Trump, speaking from the Oval Office with Philippine President, digressed on his conversation about tariffs and bargains and things of that nature, and accused the former president of treason. Check this out from the Midas Touch podcast. The headline reads, Obama breaks silence and torches Trump over failed distraction. So let's watch this together.
Justice, from your perspective, who should the DOJ target as part of their investigation? What specific figures in the Obama administration?
Well, based on what I read, and I read pretty much what you read, it would be President Obama. He started it. But the leader of the gang was President Obama, Barack Hussein Obama. Have you heard of him?
So breaking just moments ago, former President Obama's office responding after Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard accused his administration of using, quote, manufactured intelligence about President Trump and Russia.
Okay, is everyone paying attention? Here is how you cover Trump's blatant attempt at a distraction regarding Obama. See Rolling Stone's headline, Trump goes full fascist. In quotes, whether it's right or wrong, it's time to go after people. The president is desperate to turn the nation's attention away from his ties to Jeffrey Epstein. Now, this sentiment was echoed by former President Barack Obama as he finally broke his silence in a statement given on behalf of his office.
He's guilty. It's not a question. You know, I like to say...
Pardon me, ladies and gentlemen, didn't know this commercial was going to let's get this here. Here we go.
He's guilty. This was treason. This was every word you can think of. They tried to steal the election. They tried to obfuscate the election. They did things that nobody's ever even imagined, even in other countries. You've seen some pretty rough countries. This man has seen some pretty rough countries, but you've never seen anything like it.
See, today Trump continued his outright desperate attempt to divert the national conversation away from his ties to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, following this weekend's bizarre rant suggesting prominent Democrats should be prosecuted, before then just saying it outright today. When asked which Democratic figures the Justice Department should target specifically in light of Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard calling for the Obama administration officials to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, well, Trump just couldn't say his full name fast enough, could he? Considering it's on the tip of his tongue every single day.
But the leader of the gang was President Obama, Barack Hussein Obama. Have you heard of him?
Which is, I've said before, side note, where it's ironic that the man who was sued for refusing to rent to black tenants has a black man living rent-free in his head every single day. And the office of the former president responded today saying, quote, out of respect for the office of the presidency, our office does not normally dignify the constant nonsense and misinformation flowing out of this White House with a response. But these claims are outrageous enough to merit one. These bizarre allegations are ridiculous and a weak attempt at distraction. We all know a distraction from what? Come on, just say it, Barack. Nothing in the document issued last week undercuts the widely accepted conclusion that Russia worked to influence the 2016 presidential election, but did not successfully manipulate any votes. These findings were affirmed in a 2020 report by the bipartisan Senate Intelligence Committee, overseen by who? Marco Rubio. Now this comes as Trump posted an AI video of Obama getting arrested in the Oval Office, because that's normal, right? DTB reminded there's only one former president with a mugshot, and I'll give you a hint, by the way. It's the one with the second worst year one summer approval rating since, well, his own year one approval rating first time around.
Under fire, Donald Trump has turned to trolling Barack Obama with a bizarre AI video as he tries to distract from the Epstein files firestorm. The video appears to be manipulated footage of an Oval Office meeting that took place in November 2016 between Obama, then the president, and Mr. Trump, who had days earlier won the election. The digitally altered video shows FBI agents bursting into the meeting, pushing Obama to the ground, then putting him in handcuffs. The fake video then shows Obama in an orange jumpsuit pacing in a cell. The video follows allegations from Trump administration officials that Obama and members of his team manufactured intelligence that Russia interfered in the 2016 presidential election.
And we all know why Trump's doing this, right? Trump's history with Epstein has been under the microscope as his administration has tried to basically bury the story.
What happened to the lawyer who got Epstein his bizarrely lenient plea deal when he was first arrested on sex trafficking charges in Florida? What happened to the lawyer who got him that bizarrely lenient plea deal? Well, Trump hired him to be his own lawyer. What happened to the U.S. attorney who gave Jeffrey Epstein that bizarrely lenient plea deal? Trump put him in his cabinet in his first term. Well, who then prosecuted Epstein?
Ladies and gentlemen, I have to take a quick break. I'll be right back.
I'll come back and get my stuff. I ran into the car.
Okay.
I said, I hope that you wasn't text call me yesterday. And nobody was gonna beat me because I was on a plane all day. I was flying from Las Vegas. So 5-6 hours. I said maybe I can get the message.
All right. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. I had to take a quick break. Tyrone Bowman live. Let's continue this.
A second time when he was brought up on federal charges. That was the SDNY line prosecutor who Trump inexplicably fired last week. Who was in charge of the Department of Justice and the Bureau of Prisons when Epstein then killed himself in federal custody? President Donald Trump, who bragged to a reporter about how much Epstein seemed to like women on the younger side, who said Epstein was a lot of fun to be with, who bragged that he was friends with Epstein for 15 years, who flew on his plane at least 7 times, and who now says that everybody needs to stop talking about Jeffrey Epstein right now? Answers there are Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, and Donald Trump.
The Wall Street Journal reported last week on a salacious birthday note that Trump allegedly wrote for Epstein in the early 2000s, and the president opted to sue the Wall Street Journal and its owner, Rupert Murdoch, for publishing the piece last week. Rupert Murdoch being a man that's gone to bat for Donald Trump to the tune of costing him $700+ million.
Well, the president believes he has a superpower. He believes he has a legal superpower because of the recent lawsuits that he's settled with Disney and Paramount. And he believes he has a rhetorical superpower, the ability to tell his supporters that anything he doesn't like is fake. That's why he was using the word hoax earlier this week. In fact, I believe he was using the word hoax because he knew this Wall Street Journal report was in the works. This story did not develop just in an hour or two. The Wall Street Journal reporters have been working on this for days. So the president, perhaps knowing that this might come out, started to claim that the whole Epstein affair was a hoax. That's a word that he believes is a superpower to shut down conversation, to turn off people's brains, and to get them to move on. The problem, however, is that in this case, that rhetorical superpower doesn't really work very well because the Wall Street Journal story includes kind of both damning, you might say, but also just uncomfortable, right? Embarrassing details. These quotes make people's skin kind of crawl, and I'm sure anti-Trump folks are already going to print them on bumper stickers. So rhetorically, he's weak. And then on the legal front, his claim about a lawsuit, yes, he was able to sue CBS and get some money for his library. But in this case, a lawsuit's not going to change what has already been published. And this is one of those cases where he simply does not have a strong legal case against the Journal or Murdoch, Caitlin.
And as Obama said, it's a distraction from the Epstein files that his own supporters continue to seek answers on.
On Thursday, Trump begrudgingly ordered Pam Bondi to move a judge to unseal the grand jury testimonies related to the Epstein case. Now, I want to be clear, absolutely nothing is going to come of that, and I'll explain why. But the point here is that MAGA revolted against Trump, and we won. But the question lingers, why? Why has it come to this, right? Like, what are we doing here? What is Trump hiding? Why is he going down like this over Jeffrey Epstein? Trump is playing games. He is. I'm sorry. He is flat out playing games right now. In fact, he's doing that thing that we always felt the press was doing to Trump supporters, thinking that we're stupid. Going, okay, they don't know much about how the law works. If I just say I'm going to unseal something, then it looks like I'm acting, and then I'm going to call everybody who doesn't agree with that a troublemaker. He knows exactly what he's doing. What is the connection between Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump?
Hey, this is Senator John Ossoff in Georgia. $5.
I think I'll leave that right there.
Can you chip in $5? I've got millions in Republican attack ads coming in to try to take this Senate seat in Georgia. $5. Can you do it right now? Thank you so much.
And back to our regularly sponsored program.
Because clearly there is something here that gives him pause.
A distraction from the never-ending 2 weeks of when a deal may or may not come to fruition.
You're going to see over the next month or so, we're going to roll out dozens of deals. Oh, there are so many coming, and you're going to see deal after deal. This is going to start coming next week, and the week after, and the week after. We've got lots of them in the hopper. We're going to announce a whole bunch of deals over the next week or so.
Are you confident we can get the big ones, the big deals done?
I have them done. The next 2 weeks are going to be weeks for the record books.
That was just a couple days ago. So far, only 4 trade agreements have been announced.
And most notably, a distraction from the rising costs that consumers and businesses are having to deal with across the country.
General Motors shares T-boned by tariffs. The stock is diving several percentage points here, 7+% after the auto giant reported a 32% slump in quarterly profits due to a $1.1 billion hit from the tariffs, which GM says will actually worsen in the current quarter.
A distraction from his abysmal performance thus far.
Not the people that you want to be hearing from on this. I think having border crossings down to 0 is an incredible achievement. The problem is that the rest of the immigration policy is an absolute shambles. His approval rating on immigration ranges from -27, that's in Gallup, to -19 in CNN, and -15 in the new Quinnipiac poll that's out today. He's in the red or underwater, however you want to say it, on deportations as well, which was one of his key promises. In the CNN poll, his approved strongly number down to -21. It's the lowest it's been at any point in either of his administrations.
Why do you think that is?
Because he's not doing a good job at being president.
The truth is more important than ever. Check out our new Truth Over Lies collection at store.midastouch.com. All 100% USA Union.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to have more updates from different news sources about President Barack Obama responding to President Trump about being a treasonist. Never forget what happened with Richard Nixon and Watergate. Never surrender, never quit.